Alright folks, welcome back to Rule of Thumb. Today I thought I would bring you along for a little experiment. I am going to make beef stock, but I'm going to make a roasted vegetable beef stock. So, originally I was like, okay, I'll take the beef bones and the vegetables and I'll roast them in the oven. And then it dawned on me that I actually have a countertop roaster oven that I'm going to be able to roast the vegetables and the bones in, and then I'll be able to put some water in, get all the good bits off the bottom, fill it up, and then I can let it simmer in there for 2 days and do all my stock in one pan. Now, if you don't have a countertop roaster, you could just as easily roast this stuff in the oven, transfer it to whatever pot you're going to make the stock in, and proceed from there. But what I'm going to use is, let's see if I can move you guys down here. Okay, so this is my Rival countertop roaster oven. I have this, mine goes up to 450, so I have it cranked all the way up to 450. I'm letting it get good and hot. So that's what I'm going to roast them in. So here I've got some beef bones that I got from a local butcher. This is 6 pounds of soup bones, they call them. And then I've got 2 pounds of carrots that I just scrubbed up and took the ends off of them. I didn't peel them or anything. This is 4 medium onions, and this is 1 bunch of celery that I just trimmed up, washed up. What I'm going to do is, you can see I got my favorite big pink bowl here. I am going to put this stuff in the bowl, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, give it a good coat, and transfer it into the roaster oven and let it roast till it's got a good caramelization on it, and I will bring you folks back when we get to that point. Alright folks, welcome back. So I wanted to give you a bird's eye view of what it looks like here. So you can see everything is really roasted down in here. I mean, you know, the bones are, anything that was left on the bones have peeled away. The vegetables are good and roasted down. You can see some of the caramely bits on the celery and on the onions. I mean, that's what we were looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to back you guys up, because if I pour water in here, it's just going to steam you up. So I'm going to back you up, and then I'll bring you back and show you what I'm adding in from there. Okay guys, welcome back. So I'm going to go ahead and start by putting some water in here. Get it going, and then I'm going to take my wooden, see this here, my spatula, and just go around and make sure that if there's anything stuck to the bottom, which it was pretty clean, so I'm not too worried about that, but just in case, we want to go ahead and get those flavor bits if they were in there. But I think we're actually really good. Okay, so didn't have to worry too much about that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, while I was roasting this, I did add some thyme to it as well. So I did salt, pepper, and thyme, just because I really appreciate the flavor of thyme with beef. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add a little bit more thyme. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of thyme in here. Okay. And then I am going to do a tablespoon of rosemary. You know what? I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of rosemary. Yeah, I like that better. And then I've got some bay leaf here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw, these are pretty small bay leaves, so I'm going to do 3 of them in there. Over here, 1 in the middle. Alright, and then I'm going to do turmeric. I love using turmeric in my stocks. It is a great anti-inflammatory. And it just adds a beautiful color to your stock as well. So I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of turmeric in there. And then the last thing I'm going to put in, and let me get you a close-up on this, just up here. This is Better Than Boullion roasted garlic base. Now I bought these on Amazon. These are little 3.5 ounce jars. It does come in the other size, you know, in larger sizes as well. But I don't use this to make like a soup base with, so I don't use a whole lot of it at a time, so I like these little jars. So I'm going to use probably, let's see here, it's 1, 2, okay, I use like 3 heaping tablespoons of this roasted garlic base. Because I figure the roasted garlic is going to go great with all the roasted veggies and the roasted beef bones and just give it a nice fat note. So now I'm going to get some more water in here, and I am basically going to fill this roaster up to the top. Excuse me. And then I'm going to let it come to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to let this simmer for probably 2 days. Because what we want to do is get all of the flavor out of those bones. Oh, that actually reminds me, there's one other thing to add that actually my friend Mandy over at More Delight told me is to add vinegar to it. We're going to add about a 1/4 cup of vinegar to this, which the vinegar helps to extract the marrow out of the bones. You won't taste the vinegar in the stock, but it does help to get all of the marrow out of the center of the bones. So that was a very helpful hint for me from my friend Mandy that I will definitely be using. So I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of vinegar in there as well. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, let it sit, and I'll see you folks in a couple days when we're ready to move on to the next step. Hi there folks, welcome back to Rule of Thumb. So it has been almost a week since we last looked at this project. So I cooked the beef stock for probably almost 50 hours. I think 51 hours is when I finally shut it off. I let it cool down in the roaster, and I strained all of the solids out into this and put the liquid into this pot and put this in the fridge, and there it has been chilling for the past few days. Sorry, bumped the camera. And what that did is allowed for the fat solids to congeal. I also just, quite frankly, didn't have time to can it until today. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully take, okay, so can you see that? That is, let me see if I can get this up here. It's a good 1/4 inch of fat. So I'm going to take that off and set it aside, and then I'm going to bring this back up to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer, and that is what we're going to work with when we get ready to can this up, put it in jars and can this up. So we're going to be straining it again as we put it into the jars, but for right now I just want to get the bulk of the fat out and get it heated back up, and then I'll bring you folks back so you can see where we're at. Okay folks, welcome back. So I have got the beef stock back up here. Let me see if I can bring you over here so you can see this. Okay. So you can see the color of it here. I mean, the color is, you know, I love the visual. The color's beautiful. So, come back here. Oh, see, this is what happens. Stay. Alright, I'm going to put you back over here. Okay, so get you set up so you can see the jar here. So I'm doing pints. I just pulled this out of some hot water. This is 4 layers of cheesecloth. I wet mine to start with because it makes the process easier. So I've got that in my funnel, and I am just going to quite simply fill up the jars with this beautiful beef broth. You might be asking, why am I using a silver ladle? Because quite frankly the metal doesn't stain, and because I have so much turmeric in this stock, if I use it on plastic, plastic or wood, it tends to stain. So, I'm just sticking with the metal. Alright, so we're going to fill this jar to 1 inch headspace. We're almost there. Okay, I think we might be there once this liquid goes through. Okay, so we're not really getting a ton of sediment. You can see here, but it's just a little bit, and I just like it to be as clean as possible. So forgot my paper towel here. So I'm going to go ahead, I got my paper towel, I'm going to dip it in some vinegar over here because obviously there's a lot of fat in the beef stock, so you want to make sure that the rim is very clear. And then I've got some lids and rings over here simmering in some hot water. So we're going to get a good clean lid. These have all been washed in hot soapy water. Get the lid on, fingertip tight, and there it is. That is a beautiful jar of beef stock, and it's going in the canner, which I've got keeping warm over here. So it's as simple as that. I'm going to go ahead and keep filling jars, get my canner filled up, and I'll bring you folks back when I'm ready to close up the canner. Okay folks, welcome back. So I ended up with 20 pints, which fills my canner, and then I have an additional 3 cups, so a pint and a half, which I'll put in the fridge and I'll use to make dinner tonight or tomorrow. So I'm sure somebody will ask why I didn't debubble. I don't debubble when it's liquid because I don't see the point. So in case you were wondering about that, that's why I didn't debubble. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the lid on the canner, and I'm going to bring it up to a vent. When the steam is venting out, steady vent of steam, I'm going to vent it for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to put my weight on, and I'm going to can this. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Beef stock and chicken stock for pints say to can for 20 minutes, for 25 minutes for quarts. Vegetable stock is 30 minutes for pints and 35 minutes for quarts. So we've hashed this around amongst those of us that are canners, trying to figure out why, and we can't really come up with the answer. It just is what it is. So logically I would can these for 20 minutes because it's beef stock. However, because I use so many vegetables in my stock, I'm going to can it for the vegetable stock time, which is 30 minutes. So I'm going to bring this up, let it vent for 10 minutes, put my weight on, bring it up to pressure. I'm going to can these for 30 minutes, let them come down completely off of pressure, crack my lid, let it sit for 10 minutes, then I'll bring them out and I'll bring you folks back so you can see the finished product. Okay folks, welcome back, and the canner has come down off of pressure. I cracked my lid, I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and we are now ready to pull these out of here. So Get you up close here and take a peek at that. So beautiful. I mean, it is just absolutely gorgeous. Let's zoom you in here a little bit. Let's pull another one out here. I mean, just look at it. Look at the color of that. I am so excited to have this on my shelf. Now, is this something I would do all the time? You know, like, there was definitely some expense involved in this. You know, you had to purchase the soup bones. I did the veggies, which, you know, you don't have to do carrots, celery, and onion. You know, it's personal choice. There's a lot of time involved. I mean, you know, you're talking a few days from start to finish. So a lot of people are like, oh, you can buy stock in the store. And that's true. And I may very well do that, you know, in the future. But I wanted to know that I could make it. I wanted to know what it was like when I make it myself. Now I know. I make vegetable stock, onion stock, chicken stock. You know, this is probably the most expensive and most time consuming of all of them. So these will be, you know, for special occasions, for things where I really think the beef stock is going to make the difference in the flavor. That's what I will use these for. And I'm thankful to have had the experience and been able to, you know, make something from scratch that I hadn't made before. And now I'll be able to enjoy the benefits. So, I hope you folks enjoyed this video. I hope you give it a try. Let me know if you have already made it in the past, if you're going to make it in the future. You know, let me know what you think. So, I hope you guys had a good time following me along on this journey. Thanks for coming along with me. And as always, I hope you had a great day.